Emily, welcome to Empower Network TV. Very excited to be talking to you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I was telling Emily, I like all the stuff on her behind her. I've not seen one that full of,
Her mom and dad.
I like the deck. What's the deck? She believed she could, so she did. Wow. And that's your
Yes,
mom and dad. That's your mom and dad up there on your
that's
left.
my mom and dad's wedding. Yep. And my
Okay.
kids there but they're now adults.
Okay.
My grandmother, my mame,
Okay.
went to college at 75 and graduated. So that was pretty cool. We kind of graduated at the same time.
Hang on, your grandma went to college at 70. What?
You can go for free at Colby College in Maine. A lot of universities, if you're over 75, you can attend for free.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
It is amazing. Education. I'm a lifelong learner. So always value in education. Yeah.
Good
Well,
for
thank
you.
you for the opportunity to come here and meet with you and to share my story.
Well, you are the 300th. So you are number 300 this year, started January 15th. And we've done 300, like 200, I've done 270 interviews. And then there's been other events and some people have also done some interviews, but you are number 300 on the Anchor and on the YouTube, apparently. So congratulations to you, Emily.
That's my lucky number, I guess.
Well, we're going to be talking about from Wall Street to wellness. Like that is quite the jump to go from a Wall Street executive to. So, and I know a little of your story. So can you just go right into it? Pretend I don't know anything because you didn't know I wasn't recording. We were live. I didn't tell you. So let's just jump into it because it's a great story.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my story. So thank you so much for letting me share it. Yes, I went from Wall Street to wellness, and my journey was when we moved to Minnesota for my husband's career. I left Wall Street. I had a very successful career in Wall Street, and that's a whole nother life for me. So we'll talk about the wellness side because I decided to leave Wall Street and decided to become an occupational therapist because I love helping people. I'm kind of a helper. I'm told sometimes that I try to help too much. That's what my kids say. Mom, let us be adults. Stop helping so much. So I've gotten really good at that now. Yes, mothers are the backbone of our families and our communities. And I am here to support moms so that they can master our life's many roles with wellness. And if you don't have your health and you're not feeling good, and if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, right? So that's what I address. How I came to that from Wall Street is that when I switched careers, I got exposed to tuberculosis. People don't realize tuberculosis is still out there. And the treatment for I can't even say it, tuberculosis was antibiotics for a year. Okay, now this is many, many years ago, right? I'm talking about almost 30 years ago that this happened, that I got exposed to tuberculosis. Antibiotics for a year ended up skyrocketing me. So here I was in my late 20s and I got pushed into having a 50-year-old body. So when you turn midlife, you're experiencing, arthritis, menopause, hot flashes, poor sleep, mood swings, your bone density declines. So I had osteoporosis, panesis, which turned into porosis. So I was struggling, low energy, and just always felt miserable. And I would go to my doctor and they'd say, oh, take supplements. I would purchase some supplements to, combat all of this happening. I ate healthy. I was very active. I'm a huge skier. I love to ski downhill and cross country, snowshoe, all that outdoor stuff. That's me. But it wasn't helping. Okay. So I just kept deteriorating and I would get these supplements and they would make you feel sick. So you'd buy them, they'd sit in your drawer because you'd never take them. And I'd throw them out every year. And this went on for about almost 20 years. I felt like this. Then I ended up getting taken out by a snowboarder at the top of a mountain in Maine. And my ski did not pop because I was getting off a chairlift and the snowboarder took me out and I was an expert skier. And now I'm an intermediate. And my leg twisted 360 degrees with the ski on. Ouch. Yeah. Shattered my lower leg into 8 pieces. Okay. So the surgeon puzzled me back together with 11 screws and 2 plates. I have 10 fingers. Imagine 11 screws and 2 plates in my little leg. It's kind of mind blowing that they can do that. But rehabbing and coming back from that was super slow. And this is where mindset also really plays an important key because My friends, when I first got hurt, kept telling me, you're going to be fine. You're going to ski again. You're going to be fine. You're going to ski again. And the whole rehab time, I just always told myself that. They didn't think I would maybe keep my leg or even be able to walk when all this happened, but I denied that. However, 2 years afterwards, I still wasn't where I wanted to be. I was a limping, kind of grumpy mom. Oh gosh, the kids, they could really set me off. Still having hot flashes, still exhausted, having to take a nap every day, working as an occupational therapist, limping around. And a dear friend introduced me to gut health. Now, this is 6-7 years ago, so gut health was kind of new on the forefront. And she put me on a simple program. However, the day that I went on that gut health program was the day I slipped in the yard again. I was rushing to go cross-country skiing. I live on a pristine, beautiful lake in Maine, surrounded by mountains. And during this beautiful light snowfall, it's so great to go out on the lake and ski while the sun is setting and the dogs, take them for a walk. I didn't see this little patch of ice that's on the north side of the tree on the ground. And if you've ever experienced snow on ice, it's like the most slipperiest thing you've ever imagined. So I didn't see it in my cross-country ski boots. Woo! It was like a banana peel, took me out. I went flying in the air. The skis went everywhere. Snap. I actually heard my same leg break again. Snap. I heard it. Anyways, that's a whole nother funny story of how long I laid there. That's for another time. So what happened was I was taking these supplements. I had started them, and my healing from the second fracture was amplified because I was healing my body from within. I was rebalancing my gut microbiome that being on antibiotics crushed me for all these years. And you can't eat enough yogurt. You can't change your diet so much that you can change it that quickly. And this was really, really helping me. And people actually saw the difference in me. So I went from a grumpy old, limpy old lady, never being able to sleep, struggling with hot flashes. Like, you would see me strip in the middle of meetings because I always wore layers because when it happened, I don't know if you've been in a situation like that with women. And then you have to put it all back on because you get cold afterwards. It's crazy. All that was diminishing and getting better. And what really blew my mind and what I love is that my family was getting me back. It was, for a longest time, I was kind of a grumpy mom. Nobody really wanted to be around me. And then they could see the change. They could feel the change. And I was getting more quality time with my family. And what was mind blowing is people were noticing. They were like, hey, what are you doing? You look different. I actually aged backwards. I looked older than I did back then. And now I look younger. Like I don't look like the same person. If you see my before and after in the past 6 years, used to look in my late 60s. Now I'm in my late 60s and I look like people say I'm in my 40s, which is very
You
nice.
do not look like you're in your 60s.
I'm in my late 60s. So anyways,
Wait a minute. No, you're not.
yes. And I can tell you that people know me as the Energizer Bunny, and I never had this kind of energy. I sleep like a rock and so beautifully. It's wonderful to be able to sleep and wake up energized and healthy. I couldn't make a fist because of my arthritis. It's hereditary, my arthritis. But before this program, and I still use the program today. And I have done a lot of research because I'm an occupational therapist. Things have to be clinically proven. There has to be evidence by science that whatever I recommend, be it therapy, treatment through behavior, mindset training, or even just a simple activity of daily living, as we say in the OT world, what you do every single day, from brushing your teeth, getting dressed, putting on your clothes, even managing your finances. OTs help with all of that. And we're trained on the lifespan, all the way from even before you're born, we're trained on that, all the way till you're an adult. And you kind of pick your niche of where you're going to work. I've worked both with kids. I've worked with autism. I've worked in geriatrics. I've worked with teenagers. I've worked with head injury. I've worked with spinal injury. And all this came together when I realized that gut health really is impactful on all levels. Believe it or not, the new studies came out about cancer and a Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's been clinically proven now that your gut microbiome affects your risk of developing not only breast cancer, but colon cancer and bladder cancer as well.
Okay, so how do we I just want to interrupt here. Can you talk about gut health? What does that even mean? Like,
Well, this is fascinating. Thank you for asking. And being a science person and the whole thing
I
to me.
don't believe you're I don't believe you're your late 60s. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway,
Well,
sorry,
thank you.
continue.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that compliment. So what there is in your body is your central nervous system has two functions. So I got to give you a little mini science lesson on your central nervous system to understand this. So there's one that, that's automatic. It's responsible for making your heart beat. It's responsible for, how you can see. All that happens automatically in your central nervous system. And there's also things that happen that aren't automatic in your body, but we're not going to talk about that. We want to talk about what automatically happens for your body to run so that you know to breathe, so your heart knows to beat and blah, blah, blah. So the longest nerve in your body is called the vagus nerve. It's also known as the gut-brain axis. And the gut brain is called it's also known as your second brain, because down there's actually an ecosystem. There's also an ecosystem of microbiome on your skin, but we'll come back to that because the gut-brain axis is the really important one where it's all there. When you have a balance of good and bad gut bacteria in this ecosystem, you're getting the right messages from the brain back to the gut that all systems are in good check. It's kind of like if you're into computers, you do a diagnostic to make sure there's no viruses, and you run it through and you say, oh, everything's good and we can keep going with what we're doing. That's kind of what your vagus nerve, your gut brain axis doing. It's telling what's going on. So if you eat a big bag of Twizzlers, which I've done before, okay, when I was studying for an exam, I'm eating Twizzlers. What happened to my body? My blood sugar went up, right? And then to counteract that, you end up with that sugar crash. Everybody knows that. You eat, you see it in kids all the time. And my body actually couldn't function. I crashed so low. And that's a bad thing. So I was doing bad things to my body when I was younger. And so the gut-brain axis, if you stay balanced, and keep your blood sugars balanced all day, which the program that I utilize and help people with, sets you up so that your internal messaging system on your gut-brain axis is sending the right messages, so it doesn't have to compensate and change things. Does that answer your question, or was I too scientific?
Well, I think it's a deep question. So yeah, you went into the beginnings of it. It's probably very involved because
Think of
there's
it this
different.
way.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. If you feed it, think of your ecosystem in your digestive tract as a garden. When you have a garden, if you tend to your garden, you nurture it, you weed it, get out the bad weeds, you seed it, fertilize and feed the good weeds, the good stuff, and reseed it. You have to keep putting, new plants in to grow because the plant will live its life out, and then you have to reseed it. And if you do that with your garden, you get a harvest. Your garden thrives, your garden is nourished. Same way with the ecosystem in your gut. So you need to weed, seed, and feed your gut microbiome to have that maximum optimal balance so that it promotes optimal health. If you Google anything like fibromyalgia, diabetes, breast cancer, and how even anxiety and depression all relates to your gut microbiome. And there's studies coming out like crazy. 90% of your happy hormone is produced in your gut. So if you have a dysbiosis, you're not producing the right amount of hormone to be happy. When you go through menopause, like my not only was the antibiotics killing my good gut bacteria, it pushed me into menopause. When estrogen drops, it changes the ecosystem in your gut. All the hormones are produced there. Here's another, this will blow your mind. COVID, okay? When you have anxiety, you have that, they call it the fight or flight trigger. You get that sick feeling in your stomach. That's your central nervous system communicating with your brain that, oh my gosh, I've got to keep myself safe. But what happens to the body, that message, the central nervous system through your vagus nerves tells the body, release cortisol, release cortisol. You got to run away. You got to protect yourself. What does cortisol do to your gut microbiome ecosystem? Kills your good gut bacteria. So when you have anxiety and people are depressed, the medical model, I'm not knocking modern medicine, it's wonderful. They've done so many things. They've helped save my leg. Okay. but we need to combine holistic health with modern medicine, because everybody in COVID, everybody, kids, we were all in the fight or flight situation with our central nervous system, our autonomic nervous system for 3 years, even greater, even with this war that's going on, that all causes anxiety. And then we're all releasing cortisol, which messes up our good gut microbiome. So now we're getting the wrong message, and you just keep getting into that loop because you're not producing the right happy hormone quantity, which is 90% is produced there. So even melatonin to help people sleep is produced there. And 80% of your immune system is produced in your gut. If your gut is imbalanced, then you're going to have illness, you'll have other issues that happen. Now, gut health isn't a cure for diseases. However, it's a tool to improve and reduce your risk of having chronic diseases or even acute situations turned into chronic. There was one other piece that popped into my head when I was talking about gut health, and I lost it.
I wanted to ask you, what are 3 things a person can do today to instantly move the needle on their gut health? What is it like foods, activities? What things instantly are a marker, positive marker?
Okay. And then I remembered the other point I wanted to explain. Remind me to tell you what kills our good bacteria, because it's not just the stress that I talked about. That's one key component. So what you can do is eat a lot of fiber. You want to eat sauerkraut, kombucha. You want to reduce your artificial sugars and natural sugars, because the artificial sugars and natural sugars feed the bad gut bacteria. Dr. Oz did an experiment on TV a while back. It's on YouTube if you want to Google it, where he had the fish tank of the bad gut bacteria. It's called Candida yeast, and it's in our bodies. There's a purpose to it. It's to help decompose your body when you die. And then he had a fish tank of the good gut bacteria, and he had sugar water, and he sprayed each one and showed how the Candida yeast just thrives with sugar. They hide sugar in our foods under 57 different names. So if you're eating a lot of processed food, that's my third thing. You asked for 3. So one is eat a lot of high fiber foods. I have a list I can include if people want to hear about it. Eat, kombucha. You can take a good, healthy, quality probiotics. All probiotics aren't the same. You can take a prebiotic that also feeds your good gut bacteria. That's usually fiber. What did I say? There was my other one.
Sauerkraut. You mentioned sauerkraut.
Right. And then reducing your refined sugars. Don't eat sugars. Try to eliminate that. And then try not to eat processed foods. Eat whole foods. Whole foods, because all the processed foods have stuff that kill the good gut bacteria. What happens also is from the packaging that leaches toxins into our foods, into our bodies, because we'll be eating it. It's like a lot of people like drinking water, but if you're drinking bottled water that's been transported around when these waters get hot as they're traveling and being transported, there's toxins that leach from the plastic into our foods, plus plastics are bad for our environment as well. So those obviously, and then the obvious is sleep. You need to get at least 7 to 8 hours sleep. That's super, super important. If you're having trouble sleeping, that's an indication that you have a dysbiosis in your gut. Other things that create a dysbiosis: stress, as I named, poor eating habits. I hate to tell you, but our cell phones and our computers are depleting our gut microbiome because of the blue light. So minimize your time that you look at your devices, especially kids. How you were born affects your gut microbiome. If you're born vaginally, you get a better thumbprint. It's kind of, everybody has a unique gut microbiome, and you get more of your mom's if you're delivered vaginally than if you're C-section. What else? Stress, I said already, that reduces your gut microbiome. Alcohol, lifestyle choices, lack of exercise, things like that. A sedentary lifestyle. I like to say sitting is the new smoking, because we're sitting a lot more than we ever have in our lifetime, particularly looking at the devices and being, I love Zoom. I'm a huge fan of Zoom. I've traveled all over the world thanks to Zoom. But yeah.
So any way you slice it, there's like, for years we've known what we should and shouldn't eat. And it's kind of like you know, it sounds like the evidence just keeps stacking up. It's like, sure, you can do, do this. We recommend you do this. It's kind of like do this, or like, I don't see a lot of reason to, I'm shocked people are still eating sugar. I'm shocked people are doing these things still, but I've been living in that lifestyle for 20 years of like
I have
30
an
years.
answer. I have an
What's
answer.
what's your answer?
My answer is when you rebalance your gut microbiome with a simple, sustainable system that fits into your lifestyle, working with an occupational therapist like me who has expertise in that area, what happens is when we get your body balanced from within, your body actually craves the right things. So if you're having sugar cravings all the time, that to me is a red flag, because you got the bad gut bacteria that's telling your brain. That's why you get that sugar craving. It's the message going down your vagus nerve. It's telling your brain, feed me, feed me, feed me. Well, you go feed yourself. So one of the areas that I do differently with anybody else that works with people with with trying to balance their guts and the detox and all the other noise you hear out there about that, I address their blood sugar craving right away. I will address that. I balance your blood sugars all day with a simple drink that is evidence-based. It's clinically proven, has a patent on it, created by physicians and a research division team. So I'm not going to recommend any fly-by-night thing. Mine actually is clinically proven. So I'll balance your blood sugars all day. So right then and there, we're getting that Candida yeast that wants you to feed it, the bad gut bacteria, no longer yelling at you through your vagus nerve from your gut. And then we address reseeding it and weeding out the bad and putting in the good. And it's such a simple system.
I didn't know that. So if people are craving sugar, it's because their bad bacteria in their gut is out of control.
Yes.
So
And
it's no different than like when I was younger, I was hooked on porn and I watched it all the time. And so I craved it all the time. And so it's like whatever you feed grows. Or I was hooked on video games. I was hooked on shopping at one point in my life. And all I thought about was video games and shopping. I didn't know sugar's the same thing.
yes, it wants you to feed it. It's a living organism in your body. It's called the Candida yeast, and it wants you to feed it. And it's sending the messages through your central nervous system along the vagus nerve, your gut brain axis. Now, it's very hard to break that habit unless your blood sugar is balanced. Type 2 diabetes is rampant in our nation. It's a lifestyle disease, and it's because our food supply is laden with hidden sugars. And artificial sugars also kill the good gut bacteria. So like, it frustrates me. You'll see these healthy protein powders and these athletes using these to build muscle. And one of the ingredients is sucralose. It's an artificial sweetener that's bad. My program will use it's called stevia. It's all plant-based and it's much better for you, and monk fruit.
That's what I put in my tea, or if I have coffee, I put stevia.
Yeah. Good.
Oh.
That's good. The other difference too is you really have to look at the whole person's lifestyle. You just can't say, hey, take this, like medicine and chemicals and the pharmaceutical companies drive me crazy with their commercials about, oh, here you have horrible skin condition, I forget what the one that's on all the time. And then it says, take this pill every day and you're cleared up and ready to go. And meanwhile, it's just putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not getting to the real issue of what's happening. And you Google that condition about gut health, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of, your skin is your largest organ on your body. And that's a lot of places where a dysbiosis will show up, is on your skin through rashes or itching or hives or acne. So it's just kind of multiplies as you're not balanced. You're more stressed out and your lifestyle keeps feeding the bad and you stay imbalanced. So you really have to get to the root issue and heal. It's not an overnight fix, though. You have to understand you didn't get that way overnight. It's not like taking an Advil where all of a sudden, bam, you're better. Advil is a great product, but again, that kills your good gut bacteria. And the federal food, what is it? They recommend now that you shouldn't take it because it causes cancer. Now, there's something that was approved by our government that causes cancer.
Advil, they're saying now causes cancer.
It does. Google it, look it up.
Oh
They say to minimize how much you take it, and you should take Tylenol, but Tylenol doesn't do anything. However, if your gut health is balanced, it reduces your inflammation in your body. And there's other things you can use like turmeric and green lipid muscle extract, which is one of my go-tos. It's a combination for inflammation. That's another key component of getting your gut balanced. It reduces your inflammation because chronic inflammation in our bodies is there because of the sugar issue and our sedentary lifestyles. However, yeah, so you look at the whole person so that you make sure that what they're doing is supporting getting detox, keeping their sugars balanced. And you can't do it alone. It's really helpful to have somebody like me whom is expert, but I'm very, very economical because I want to help as many people as possible achieve health, particularly women, because we wear so many hats in today's world. I grew up during women's lib. I wasn't even allowed to wear pants to school. So things have changed. When I see Kamala Harris on TV in pants, I'm like, yes, okay, girls can wear pants on, it's a good thing. Anyway.
Wow. Well, if you are someone that's watching Empower Network TV and you got skin issues, gut issues, make sure you get with Emily. Give her a message. Emily's going to come in and I'm going to be tagging her in this, and Emily will drop any links she's got. But yeah, now that you're saying this, there's people I know in my life that definitely have skin and stomach stuff going on. And I'm going to go to Trader Joe's again today. I haven't had it for 2 days, but I've been eating sauerkraut. They have organic sauerkraut with sea salt. Trader Joe's sells it in the States. You guys are amazing for that. I'm just doing a road trip through the States, but I eat sauerkraut every day. And people always ask me, why do you eat sauerkraut? Because it's really good for my gut. Like it's so good for your gut. And once you start doing it every day, it's just automated. And
yeah. And vinegar, apple cider vinegar.
So I take that every day too. I take that in a little thing, a little shot of that. The only thing, though, you said kombucha, but okay, so I am no health expert, but people have told me that kombucha, though, you got to get the raw, unpasteurized stuff, or else all the good stuff is killed. Just like honey, if they pasteurize it, it's dead. There's nothing in it. And most stuff sold in stores, at least in Canada, it's all been pasteurized. So they killed everything. That's why there's nothing left in commercially produced milk. It's garbage. That's why they got to add vitamin A and vitamin D. It's trash.
Yep.
You got to get it from the cow's teat.
Right.
So do you make your own kombucha? Do you make your own?
No, I don't. I use my basic system to balance. I weed, seed, and feed my gut on a daily basis with my little program.
Weed, seed, and feed my gut. I love that. That's great marketing. If you want to weed, seed, and feed your gut too, make sure you get with Emily.
Yeah. It's actually what I love about it is that it's so simple, and I can live in today's world and not have to be stressed out about making sure I've had my sauerkraut that day, because it just fits. I fit the program into my lifestyle and anyone else's lifestyle. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people with this program, and it's been so rewarding.
Beautiful.
And it works because it is so simple. You don't have to go to a special trip to Trader Joe's to get your sauerkraut. It comes to your home. It gets shipped to your home, and then you get me. As long as you're using my program, I don't charge any extra for my expertise and my guidance and support. Wow. And so yes, it's under $5 a day. You can work with me, which is less than a cup of coffee.
She believed she could, and so she did. Emily Cambria, this is just beautiful interview. Thank you. There's a lot of people that need to hear this. I hope they at least listen and maybe click on some of your links to find out, because when your skin is breaking out and you got gut issues and your sleep is crap, something's up, but it's easy just to let it go unchecked. And thanks for showing us the light side.
The other key you left out is our mental health, which is super, super important, because 90% of your happy hormone is produced there. And with all the stress and anxiety in our world, you can actually feel really grounded despite things going crazy around you, which is what that's like my favorite thing about having my gut healthy, is how grounded I feel in a world of chaos, and how it's amazing to feel that way. Even the world, the sky could be falling, but you still have an outlook that you can carry on because you're balanced. I can't describe it. It's a feeling I wish everybody could share with me. And that's my mission.
Beautiful. And when I see you next in a year 5, you're going to have aged reverse even more. So now you look what, 50? You're going to be like, you're looking 45, 40, 30. So this is fun.
Here's one last funny story. I had a gentleman, I was with my 25, well, he was 23 at the time. He thought I was my son's girlfriend.
Beautiful.
So that was a compliment.
That works. That works. Good for
I know
you.
sometimes guys do date older women or vice versa, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
I want to
That's
thank you
wonderful.
so much for this opportunity to meet with you and to share my story. I really am grateful for that opportunity, and it's been such a joy to me to be able to spend this time with you. So thank you.
Aw, thank you, Emily. You are the 300th event of this community. So thank you for being you.
That's fitting because the weed, seed, and feed is 3.
Oh, boom. Oh, okay. Wow. There you go. Well, I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and get myself some kombucha. I hope everyone else listening here does that as well and gives Emily click on some of her links. And she'd love to connect with you if you've been watching, listening to Empower Network TV, Emily Cambria, with her wonderful story of how she's reverse aged. Wow.
Yeah, I have other tricks too up my sleeve, but 2 other ones. Can I share 2 other ones?
You
Very
can
short.
share. We got to be off air in 2 minutes. Whatever you can do in
Okay.
2 minutes.
The key to healthy aging is gut health is number 1, 3 keys. Number 2 is autophagy. That's a whole nother conversation for an interview. If you want to bring me back on autophagy, it's really important for dementia, to sort of combat dementia. And then 3rd is community. Community is so important.
Community connection. We need that. Wow.
Yeah, that's all the people who live to be centurions. That's what all of them said. They interviewed, I don't know how many, but they said it was because they had a community. So my goal is to live to 100 and beyond, but healthy 100. So I want to take as many with me as I can.
Healthy. You are fun. Emily, you are fun. All right. Thank you for being here. What a gift. I'll be sending you your links in the next couple of days here. We'll chat again. And thanks for being on Empower Network TV.
Thank you. All right. Take care now.
Hey, Emily. Chat soon. Bye-bye.